welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm of course your host, that guy, James J., alongside the leader of Squash Squad, Kaliko Yachts.
You know what? Squash is about to be in season in the fall. It should be getting ready to sprout. So let's get these squashes out the way as they get ready for SummerSlam. I'm betting there's going to be a lot of squashes coming up soon. And I know that made no goddamn sense. But I never make sense.
And speaking of not making sense, the American Scooter Dust, who is not here tonight. But it was a good week for Wrestling Lit as we interviewed Paige Rollo from Spain and Joe Bravo from Austria last week on the show. Our first ever interview from Spain, and obviously we've done some interviews from Austria in the past. Two incredible interviews. Definitely go check those out in our archives. But this upcoming Tuesday and Wednesday, we have Brian Leo, the founder of All Korean Wrestling. If the name didn't indicate it, he is in Korea. And we talk about Korean pro wrestling, what the scene is out there, how he's responding to it, and a couple of anecdotes from his own wrestling career. So you definitely want to check that out. And then on Wednesday we have Reign Victoria, the Empress of Evil. We talk about how she went from the Empress of Evil to Corn-Fed to back to the Empress of Evil. Some high-profile matches she was recently in to Evil babysitting. So you definitely want to check that out as well. But don't take my word for it. Here's some clips now.
Can I sit wherever I can? We go to her place, and suddenly, like, I'm sitting down at the couch watching TV. She says I can have a beer, so I have a beer. And she comes out, and she sits beside me, and she starts, like, trying to make out with me. And when she touches me, it feels like she has a hook or like a weapon or something. So I look and I find out, I see she doesn't have a hand. She had an actual hook. How did I not see that the entire time when I'm there with my friends, the wrestlers and all that?
So the disadvantages is when he wants to try some moves on me, he hits very hard, and so when the adrenaline's not flowing, it's not as enjoyable or tolerable. We used to grapple a lot, just me and him, and I've only won like once out of however many times, and he'll say that it's because I surprised him or he wasn't ready or something, but I got him in a top wrist lock, so I'm gonna remember that till I die. So, yeah, I would say, it's more advantage than disadvantage, especially when you're a team like him and I are. I may not see eye to eye with all his roughneck, weird stuff, country stuff that he likes to do and likes to be, but at the end of the day, I think most everybody knows that we're a good team.
Sounds like it's an intense situation wrestling him.
Yeah, he's definitely an artist when it comes to striking and just wrestling in general. Like if you watch his matches, there's very few people that can move like him.
Well, speaking of artistry, would you prefer wrestling Joey, or would you prefer painting Joey?
I think painting, but I don't prefer him painting me. I thought I looked like Slenderman or like somebody like that was gonna kill you or eat you.
Alright, and then on the 18th, we have Ozzy Miller. On the 19th, we have Nina. On the 24th, that's a Monday, we have the GM of Pro Wrestling Society, Ozzy Blaze. On the 25th, our 300th episode, Brian Anderson. And on the 26th, we have Evan Golden. And then July 3rd, we have Cora Corridor. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, things are heating up for Wrestling With as we get further into the month of June and a little bit of July. I think we're done putting ourselves over for the moment. So it was a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the news. And it was reported yesterday, I believe, that Ricochet gave his notice to WWE. Will be leaving at the in the next month or two. We talked about this maybe last episode or the episode before that. It doesn't necessarily surprise me. But I thought it went the other way. I would have thought WWE wouldn't necessarily want to renew him rather than him not wanting to stick around. But what say you, Kaliko?
I mean, Ricochet is interesting, right? Because Ricochet NXT was not Ricochet WWE. It felt like it was three different Ricochet. Ricochet that we expected, the Ricochet we got in NXT, then the Ricochet we got when he got in the main roster. And when he got in the roster, he was a coachable guy, right? And I would think that most people would like that because he's a dependable dude. And honestly, I didn't expect him to be there long term when he got there. Because it was just a feather in the cap for him, right? To get a chance to see what it's like and then go from there, right? Best of luck to him. I mean, he met his future wife there, so shit, he got something out of it. But
I don't know.
I didn't expect. I didn't.
Ex WWE superstar, or if he's gonna go for somebody that's still currently employed.
I think she would stick with. I think he's a guy character. I mean, she wouldn't be with him if he was that character. To her, it's not whether what we think, it's what she thinks, and I just don't think it's fair for people to be like, well, she's more famous than him, and I'm like, well, she's more famous in the sense of an announcer standpoint, but I think he's probably.
I disagree.
Yeah,
but
really?
Yes, I think.
Really?
I think she got more over by literally just saying people's names than he has in the last 6 years doing literally anything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, well, that could be the case, but it's just, I think to me though, he's looking at the field and what he could do. And honestly, I think WWE was a feather in his cap. It wasn't meant to be the end all be all. Now the question is, where does he go from here? Is a huger question than that, because the landscape that he left is not the landscape he returns.
Very true. But Will Ospreay already expressed interest in wrestling him again. Obviously a couple of years ago, more than a couple of years ago now, they had that Best of the Super Juniors match that people, was talking about. So obviously, AEW would be, interested in him. TNA would just be happy to get anybody at this point. um,
Mm-hmm.
but as terrible as this sounds, AEW is more wrestling based than character based, and I think that would fit Ricochet's personality quite well.
But my problem is that he's gonna go in there as Prince Puma, be the flavor of the week, and then fade into obscurity.
Yeah, I mean that's the AEW formula, right?
Cycle.
Yeah.
Yep. But with that, best of luck. I mean, went in with something and he left with something, a huge something.
And congratulations to Andrade El Idaho for winning the Speed Championship. A championship Charlotte Flair already knew he had. Hey yo.
Just stop. Just stop.
Keeping on the opposite end of that spectrum, Ricochet might be going to AEW, but somebody from AEW might be coming available sooner rather than later, and that is Penta El Zero Mero, Pentagon Jr. His contract expires in like August, September, if you want to believe rumor and innuendo. And WWE has expressed interest. Um, I think having somebody like Penta on your roster would be beneficial, considering that he is somewhat of an all-arounder. He can do high-flying, he can do hardcore. If you need some technical shit, he can do that. And, he's just been, a consistent character. But, not on AEW TV because, AEW takes advantage of, great stars that could be major stars for the company, but hasn't. First and foremost, do you think Pentagon would work in a WWE? And second, do you think that he would actually think about going to WWE?
I would think he would be on the radar. I think he's already looking at, according to the rumor and innuendo, looking at securing his name so when he goes over there, he's already set as far as his naming rights is concerned. I think he's not against it, but he's keeping his options open, which he should, It's going to be interesting with him because they're having this thing where they're trying to push these Mexican wrestlers or Latino wrestlers like crazy, and with Ray kind of more on the way out than the way in. Dominic, he's pushing, but he's not there yet, and they still need to put some spark to it, right, to kind of make it matter.
Right.
So, I mean, it'll be a good addition, but the question is what the style. If he goes on Raw and it's Netflix, I could see that style fitting a lot better, right, than SmackDown.
Yeah, I could see that. It's kind of just weird because, like, for some apparent reason, they just put all of the Mexican wrestlers to wrestle all the Mexican wrestlers. For what reason, I have no idea. So, I mean, if you go to Raw, but you have somebody like, what is his name? Not Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee is on a Raw right now, who's a luchador. SmackDown, you low-key have Andrade, it's a luchador. I think that just a matter of who you put him with. I mean, I won't necessarily say that a Cody Rhodes Pentagon Jr. rivalry would suck. Um, on the opposite end of that, I could see him causing a lot of chaos in the Judgment Day. So I would, but then again, I would think that they would maybe, and he would even be more comfortable doing this as well. Test the waters a little bit.
Hmm.
Put him on NXT. Put him with put him with Trick. Put him with whoever
No,
else.
gosh, no. He would not be NXT. He would be going straight to the roster.
I could make the same argument that Dragon Lee should have been put straight to the roster, but wasn't. He only stayed like a couple months in NXT before he got drafted. So,
True.
you know, let people get a feel for him. Let him get a feel for the people because it's definitely a brand new animal. And if everything is all well, then draw him on the main roster and see how much damage he can do.
Yeah, can't go wrong. I mean, but first, let's see if he's actually going to leave his homie in AEW.
Are you talking about the Bastard Pack?
I mean, him and Phoenix.
That was actually going to be my next question. Obviously Penta is, Penta, but what happens to Ray Phoenix? Do they offer Ray a contract too? I think they already have a Ray Phoenix in Dragon Lee.
He's gonna be singles wrestler.
And I mean, that's
I would
not
think.
necessarily a bad thing. I always viewed Penta and Ray as singles wrestlers anyway, so.
True. I mean, hey, we'll see how that goes. But I wait for that. I'll be on the lookout for that.
Alright.
Oh, sorry.
Well, keeping up with AEW, if you believe rumor and innuendo, especially if it comes from a one Dave Meltzer, WWE is putting out false AEW ratings. Kaliko,
Okay.
why is WWE putting out false AEW ratings for AEW?
Why would they need to do it?
Mike, exactly.
I mean, they're already suffering on their own. Why the hell?
When you're drowning, you don't necessarily need somebody to put a hose down your throat, right?
Or pull you down.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't need help drowning. They're doing quite well on their own, so... And WWE is arguably doing the best business that they've done in 20 years, so why do they even need to be thinking about them?
True. I mean,
The thing that...
I
Yeah.
I just think they just I don't know. I don't know what does Dave get out of that is the question I'm asking.
Well, I mean, that's what I was going to say. It's hilarious that he's saying that WWE is falsifying, AEW ratings when, he is clearly in Tony Khan's pocket, and that's been well established over the last 5 years. If you've listened to his pod his podcast or whatever he does with Ryan Satin. I believe it's Ryan Satin. Even Ryan kind of turns on AEW, and he defends them when it's so indefendable. It's not even funny, and to see and to actually listen to it is hilarious. Um, that is something I would recommend just listening to for like 20 minutes. Um, but yeah, I don't. And now WWE is, obviously working with TNA. Maybe something is in the works with New Japan. Who knows at this point? Why would WWE even be looking at them, right?
Right. Like they have so much on their plate with trying to deal with TNA people trying to jump on their shit.
Right.
So yeah.
And we'll get into that in a minute. But somebody that's been featured heavily as of recently is Braun Breaker. He broke that Ricochet ass. Um, it seems like WWE is really high on him, but there are conflicting reports that are saying that they have changed directions for Braun Breaker. Drastic change as of recently. It didn't necessarily say in a positive or negative manner, but what does that kind of mean for Braun that they're kind of going in a new direction? Even if they're meaning well by changing directions, can it actually end well for Braun?
Well, from what I was looking at, they were saying that they want to feature him heavily when they get the Netflix deal, which I'm assuming they want him to be more edgy, right? More of a R-rated menace than what they're used to or what the audience could be used to. So, I mean, Braun has been well noted that Braun has not been known as, I wouldn't say he was the guy. I think NXT, they kind of wore his welcome out a little bit. But it's just a matter of how they align him and how they give him and our perspective. Right now, they just got him as this dude who just don't give a shit and he's just breaking all the rules and so on and so forth. And I think that path could work for him. Granted, they just don't. I mean, the squash matches I don't think are helping because, I mean, they help to a certain extent to make him look unstoppable, but eventually
The bell has to ring.
you can't do that until January, right?
Yeah.
So that's the question. How long is that shit gonna last? And that is a question that WWE is probably trying to think to themselves. Okay, we got him through the door. How can we make it to where we're still on that same arc, but just moving the detour a little bit?
Well, I mean, already, he's on a detour because his rivalry was with Ricochet. So, right away, you have to figure out what you want to do with him.
I think if they give him the I took Ricochet's ass off of TV, like if they had him beat his ass so bad that he's ridden off, I could see that kind of giving him more heat.
And obviously there's some leadway to slide Dragunov into the mix. If if you put Dragunov against Braun Breaker at SummerSlam, give them 15 minutes and let them beat the shit out of each other, I think that that would go a long way to make both guys look really good for the crowd and kind of put some shine on both of them. Because obviously we know that Dragunov could go. He's only one of two people to ever beat Walter in WWE. Uh, and we know he could beat the piss out of anybody that he actually does want. Um, so, and but you just kind of have to give both guys that platform. You know what I mean?
Right, but I also look at Dragunov as the guy that they're trying to be Gunther Jr. in a sense, right?
I mean, he's already lost a match.
True, but I mean, once he gets a title, it's going to be a long reign. So eventually, they're trying to build him to be a title contender. King of the Ring, I mean, most people are not going to remember that. I wouldn't think they would care. Oh, he lost in the King of the Ring, right?
True, but I mean, again, you have to get a win in order for people to care about you to some degree, I would say.
I mean, but he got it though. In the King of the Ring, which is weird. I sound like I'm not making sense. I know, right? He just got the run in the King of the Ring but it won't matter in the King of the Ring. I don't know. We'll see what they do with him because it's just going to be interesting how they look at him, considering he's not a guy that is a speed division type of guy.
Right.
So that's where I'm more concerned with him.
Give him 20 minutes and he'll put on a banger, but give him 5 minutes and it could have been better if it was 20. But I kind of get where they're kind of going with Braun Breaker, but I don't necessarily see it. And I never necessarily have seen it with him. They're kind of just billing him as a new Goldberg, which isn't something I necessarily like. If he's going to work, we need to see some depth from him and not just, guy that comes in, doesn't give a fuck and breaks people's asses. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get it. I mean, but they got to get him through somewhere. And I think him being that guy that's going to take Ricochet's ass off the TV, it can't hurt him.
Right.
Or at least I would hope it wouldn't hurt him, right?
I don't think it would.
I mean,
somebody would have to care about Ricochet in order for, it to matter.
That is true. But I think most people kind of care about him, not in the sense of because of his wrestling ability, but more in the sense of who he's dating and marrying.
I mean, that might actually play against him. People might kill him, Braun, kill him. I want to get at Samantha. Then I'll have a shot of Samantha.
Yeah, they got a better shot at making the NBA.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Now, I don't know if people actually watch NXT or know what's going on, but, obviously there's a little TNA splash here and there. And that has left some people from NXT a little bit sour. Somebody called Brook Jensen talked about being treated unfairly, working hard, and all the time is going to some rapper named Sexyy Red.
They really ain't no Sexyy Red like that.
And apparently, so
she did better than I thought. I'll give you that. Like shit, I had the lowest of low expectations.
I could make the argument if a guy like Brook Jensen was actually doing his job correctly, we wouldn't need a Sexyy Red, but here we are. and if more people care about what Sexyy Red is doing than you, and you actually work for that place, then you're probably not doing your job right.
Nah, uh, it's it's different because Sexy Red is right now the it girl rapper. And they're just trying to bring in that ratchet audience, the black audience, the whoop that trick audience, aka Memphis, St. Louis, Southern black demographic. Yeah.
I mean, and that's interesting considering that they're based in Florida and isn't making no efforts to move out. Obviously they're in.
Just because they're based in Florida don't mean that they around black folks.
Eh, I guess. But I mean, but you
Trust me.
actually have to go to those places in order to, get an audience to pay tickets. What was I saying again? Oh yeah. Brook Jensen. He said that he might be going down to TNA to make an impact. Subtle wink and nod. Um, if Brook Jensen, who is already in the woods, goes deeper into the woods, does anybody care?
I mean, it would be interesting in the crossover sense because he's not released, right?
No, he's in NXT.
So yeah, go there, get himself some name, some pub. And I think it's going to be a big TNA NXT TNA training background.
But does anybody really care? I mean, I don't know who the guy is, so I can't necessarily say, oh, he has an audience or he has fans in NXT. So, and I can't imagine anybody from TNA is like, oh my god, Brook Jensen, he's in TNA. I mean, it's literally just for the forbidden door aspect of the relationship rather than, oh, well, it's this guy that we actually want to see on the show.
While that could be true, it's also in a sense of development and getting better, right? It's like in NFL they have these cross trainings where two teams have mini camps with each other. It's not about the matter of what they're doing and how, you know what I mean, the intricacies of getting a name brand. It's just in the sense of, okay, Brooks Jensen can only fight so many people that they actually think he could beat, right?
Okay.
And if they already think, like, who on the NXT roster you think Brooks Jensen right now is just going to knock over in a match?
Considering I don't know who Brook Jensen is, I don't know.
What? He was with the Country Cats. I mean, they kind of broke up the squad. It was him. What the hell is his name? She's on Raw now. Not Kalani Carter. Damn it.
Kiana James?
Kiana James. Yeah, all of them. So they had a story. It just, the women were kind of more interesting. And he was kind of in it in the sense that he was in the love triangle interest of it. So, I mean, but give him some time with some other cats at NXT, and I'm thinking maybe somewhere Nick Nemeth is licking his chops.
But you could kind of understand, well, could you maybe understand what TNA is like? Okay, we gave you our champion, Jordan Grace, well established on our show for many, many years, and you're giving us Brook Jensen? Like, not even Nathan Chen or, wait a minute, is Nathan Chen the finger skater? Not even Lexus King or Noam Dor Jensen. Yeah.
I was talking. I didn't even know I was on mute. But I get it, but I think it's just also like it's more of a rub. But I could see a trick going over there. I could see a I mean Allison. I mean maybe an Allison Kate, but I could
Is
see
Allison Kay signed to TNA?
she just fought Jordan and Grace, so it's not out the realm.
I mean, that's not saying a lot. She pops up and pops out quicker than things that pop in and pop out. Oh,
The question is, who would be the guy from NXT that goes over there? You'd be like, oh shit, other than the champion.
um, well, Lexus, obviously. Um, who else? I low key pop. I would low key pop for Noam Dar. Um, the Coffee Brothers. Ridge Holland would be like wow, I would say. And obviously, Thea Hill.
Thea Hale, really?
Yeah, she's entertaining.
I mean, I could see like Kalani Jordan.
No idea who that is.
What? Oh my god, you watch wrestling? Don't know who NXT? Nope,
Nope.
not registering. Oh well.
I just found out who Sexyy Red was for the first time in my life.
Oh god. You ain't the only one, because half of America was like, who the fuck is this bitch? And the other half was like, yes. This is what I call the tale of two Americas.
Really, half of America knew who Sexyy Red was. That's like
Yes.
That's like saying the 3% of the 3% that watched the Alkalite was a success.
I'm gonna tell you right now, when I say two Americas, it's a black America and a white America. White America was like, who the fuck is this bitch? Black America was like, why the fuck? And even in Black America, it was half. It was split because half of them were like, why the fuck is this bitch there? And the other half was like, hell yeah, bring this bitch. So I'm just giving you the lowdown of how that runs. But she did better than I thought. I mean, I can't say that. I mean, she was in the car bumping Sexy Boy with Shawn Michaels. She actually has a rap song where she did a cover. She sampled that. So, I mean,
well, we know how she got the job now.
oh, God, Jesus, help us.
Keeping up with TNA, obviously, the WWE partnership is a good thing. And yet they're still over budget, trying to cut cost. And they cut two significant people that were a part of the company. One of them being Lou D'Angeli. I highly doubt that that's actually the name, but I digress. Who was a big part of TNA and a figurehead of the company. He was, I don't want to say instrumental, but he did try to do more things with the company, try and get CM Punk, try and get people talking about the company. Another one being, another person that was fired was Dave Sahadi, who was ex-WWE, part of stuff in WWE. So, yeah, not a good time to be in TNA. What's the point of making cost cuts when you're literally cutting your nose off to spite your face. I don't know if you know, but you're muted, Kaliko, if you're talking.
Oh, I am. I know I'm muted, but I mean, it's interesting in the sense because I don't, from WWE side, this looks like, fuck yeah, because, they got the leverage. But
They never
when you're
not had
looking
the
at it,
leverage.
you say what?
They never not had the leverage.
Right. But from a TNA standpoint, you're like, okay, you're cutting people right when you're getting like a lot of your people to the biggest audience ever, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So this is where I'm trying to think, okay, is this like we're gonna send our best employees out with a bang program, or
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
This doesn't make sense to me. Whenever they go one step ahead, and people are starting to like them, or they're starting to get a buzz, or they're doing something positive, then they fire Scott Demore. Then they fire this guy, and then they fire the other guy, and then and it's always one step ahead, 3 steps back, and I don't necessarily. I mean, I could be wrong in this, but the person that's going to replace these people, they're not going to necessarily have the knowledge to make this place profitable because they don't necessarily have the tenure or the experience that the other guys had being in that position for as long as they were.
Well, that's true. Sometimes most people will probably do that because A, it's cost cutting, and B, you won't know what somebody else can do until they actually do it. So whoever they're putting in there, they're just giving them the chance to do it. That could be a part of it. I'm not saying that that's rational, but I could see that as a scenario.
And do you think that this might be a positive outcome for them, or is it just TNA being TNA?
TNA being TNA.
And that will conclude the news for this week. And now a quick word from our sponsors. So,
Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low calorie, no sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0-calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off brands out there that are presenting low quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with WWE Clash at the Castle preview. it is next, this upcoming Saturday. It takes place in Glasgow, Scotland, at the OV Hydro Arena,
Oh, ho.
Ohio. Um, and yeah, it kind of seems like, if you know things don't change between now and the the paid preview, but PLE I should say. We're looking at pretty much what WWE's been doing for the last like couple months when it comes to these PLAs. There's 5 matches on the card, primarily championship matches, but the show as a whole. What is your thoughts, Kaliko?
It's interesting in the sense that there's a lot of things that are. It's like they kind of got stuff that they got to clean finish, and then they got stuff that they're either going to try to kick down the road. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. I mean, considering that you got two, probably. I mean, Piper's going to get fucking. Bailey's. It's going to be interesting with Bailey and Piper because they both. Piper's the homegirl, and Bailey always gets that UK crowd popping. So that's going to be an interesting one. But overall, the card is okay, and I think that's good that they only put a handful of matches because this is kind of like that NXT formula.
Yes.
It's one of those things where like you're trying to highlight the bigger storylines that you want to put in and let all the other storylines that people may not be into play out through the TV to keep people engaged in that. And I think that's a good thing in itself because not everything has to be one blow off for everything.
I kind of get that, but it would be nice just to have 6 matches on a card, or maybe even 7. Like all of these matches are title matches. Just having a match that's a feud or a rivalry that I don't like you, you don't like me, let's punch each other in the face. You know, that doesn't go unnoticed. Those are good matches, and sometimes those matches are better than fighting for something, a title. So,
Well, the interesting dichotomy is the person that they could have that with, they're trying to hold it till August, and that's McIntyre and Punk. That would be your I don't like you, you don't like me, let's get this shit out the way.
But that's ultimately going to be for the championship if, things go the way we think they are at Clash of the Castle.
I mean, what way you think they're going?
Punk and McIntyre for the title at SummerSlam.
I don't see that happening, but okay.
Well, then let's get into it. First match on the card, Bianca Belair and Jade Gargle versus Alba Faye and Isol Dawn versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks for a triple threat tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Who wins, Kaliko?
Belair and Cargill. They're going to give them a nice little run, and then it kind of goes to the end. But I'm thinking Belair and Cargill should win.
Yeah, they're not. This ends with Cargill turning on Bianca, and that's pretty clear. Maybe
Pretty evident.
Maybe it's before SummerSlam. Maybe it isn't. Who knows? We'll see where that goes. Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles for the WWE undisputed WWE Championship. In an I Quit match. Who wins, Kaliko?
Cody. Next. He's the most over face ever, and right now, it was funny because they just showed something, and it was like Cody Rhodes' arc in 2024 is similar to John Cena's arc in 2013 or 2014.
After he beat The Rock?
Yes. No, the whole thing. When Cena lost to Rock, Cody lost to Reigns. Both of them went through Brock. Both of them ended up coming back for the title. Both of them win the title. Both of them, their first feuds is dealing with people that had to retire and fake their retirement.
Oh, I see.
The whole thing, the whole 2-year arc is literally the same. And I think that's by design, because I think Cody is going to be the Cena heir as far as like the baby face that's always doing the make-a-wishes and friendly with the people, because he's that kind of guy.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Did we need to have Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles on this show?
From a wrestling sense, yes. Because it would look odd to have your biggest baby face not on the show. From a story arc, this could have went down, somewhere else.
Say what you will about Roman Reigns, just because he could have been on every show doesn't necessarily mean he needed to be on every show. And, I understand that they want Cody to be that fighting champion, but, I don't think anybody doesn't think that Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest isn't main eventing this show. If this isn't the opener, I'd be really shocked, because it should be the opener.
What, Cody and AJ?
Yeah.
I think it would be a main eventer.
Then you're saying McIntyre and Priest open.
McIntyre and Priest are closing. I think the three main events that the three matches that are going to get the most go are Bayley and Piper, Priest and McIntyre, Cody and AJ. Everything else is going to be roughly 15 to 20 minutes, and I think those three are going to get like the bulk of the 30-minute matches.
Well,
mainly because those three matches have either the home country native, or the uber baby face. And in Bayley and Piper's case, it's both.
So I feel like, when it comes to Cody, they have to give him the same treatment and the same respect that they gave Roman. Roman never was never on the card in the middle through the whole duration of his championship run. He was either the first match out or the last match out, with the exception of this last year's Royal Rumble.
Well, the thing is, if you're thinking Priest is losing, it wouldn't make sense for McIntyre to win it in the middle when he could win it at the end.
Right. And honestly, people are buying a ticket to see Drew McIntyre. I mean, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities here. So, in my, just how I feel about it, you don't necessarily need Cody to be there. It's just to have Cody there. I feel like this could have been saved for Money in the Bank, which is next month. You could have kind of built on that AJ and Cody rivalry. Or you could have had maybe a tag team match, something on the lines of Gallows and Anderson versus Cody and I don't know, LA Knight or something of that nature. It didn't necessarily have to be this here right now. I think that they're kind of using the Cody just to be Cody for the sake of using Cody.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just my opinion. That being said, it's clear that Cody's winning this match.
Yes. Clearly.
Alright, that brings us to the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable Stevenson with Otis, Akira Takazawa, and Maxi Dupree. Who for the Intercontinental Championship? Who wins, Kaliko?
This is one where it is a toss-up to me. Because Gable has to. The justification of him turning, there has to be the payoff, right?
Right.
But I don't even. And just sidebar, I just don't see Gable as a heel.
I mean, fair enough.
People may react to it like that, but it seems more relatable in the sense that think if you did something at your job for the longest time and you've been trying and trying and trying and it just haven't kicked through the door, and then someone comes in and they have you coach the motherfucker to do it. And they end up doing it. You be heated as hell. And they get the promotion on top of that. You be mad as hell. So it's not that far-fetched to me to be, you know what I'm saying?
I am kind of surprised that people haven't turned on Sami because of that exact reason.
I mean, but they still harboring the he still, I mean, he's over just because of the fact that he's got the goddamn, what's the word I'm looking for? That Roman, when he was with Roman in
the Roman rub.
The Roman rub. So, yeah. I mean, him and Jay basically are benefiting off the Roman rub.
Right. So, do you see Chad winning this match, or is Sami continuing?
Chad should win this match. Because my thing is, what is Sami going to do after this? And the other question is, what is Chad going to do after this? Let's say if Chad wins, then what?
Very true. There wasn't a lot of shelf life to this, if I'm being honest. There's only so many places you could take it.
Yeah, I would have thought this would have been like a Sami had a title shot. See, if they wanted to prolong it, Sami gave the title shot to Gable. Gable's still pissed. He's won the title shot. Sami going, hey, I gave you your shot. You got to go in the back of the line. I got other contenders. And Gable interfering in all those matches, DQ, causing Sami to go ahead and give him the shot at SummerSlam or Money in the Bank.
Well,
because to me, that seems more apropos of a person whose jealousy is getting the best of them.
Right.
Like, if I can't have it, you can't defend it.
So you're more on the lines of Sami Zayn winning than Chad Gable?
I think that my mind is saying Chad should win. Something's telling me Sami's going. Something other than my brain is telling me this, because my brain is going, of course Chad should win, But then I'm also looking, Chad wins. Then what? And that's where I think Sammy has to keep the win because you can't take the belt off the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion and only have a 3-month reign.
Maybe. I mean, The Rock beat. I mean, The Rock beat CM Punk when he had that historic run, and The Rock only held it for like 2 months before he lost it to
But we
WWF.
knew that was just a coronation coming up for Cena. We knew what the deal was. Then this we don't know.
True. Who knows? I'll put it a little bit more easily. If Chad Gable re-signed with WWE, then he's winning this match. This was the re-sign bonus. If he didn't re-sign, then Sami Zayn is definitely winning. Agreed?
Okay. I mean, that could be the case. I mean, but I've seen. Yeah, I mean, that's the only way we can go with it. I mean, that seems reasonable, but common sense is telling me that motherfucker should win.
Right. I mean, it's just, coincidence. I don't want to say coincidence. It's just interesting that this all is happening right when Chad's contract is coming up.
That is true.
Alright, then we have, the WWE Women's Championship match, Bayley versus, Dewdrop. Piper Niven.
Jesus.
With Chelsea Green.
Chelsea or Kelsey?
You dealer's choice. Who wins? Who's the match? Who wins the match?
The crowd, because they're going to be out their ass for both.
Oh yeah.
But to me, Bailey's going to win.
Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate to me as well. And that brings us to the World Heavyweight Championship match, which should be the main event of this show for obvious reasons. We have Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Who wins, Kaliko?
This is probably going to be the most consequential match of them all. The last time Drew was there, he took a L. I don't. You said what?
He was in Wales, not
I'm talking about the last time it was Clash at Castle.
Yeah.
I don't see him losing. I don't see Priest losing the title.
So,
If there were ever a no contest, this would be it.
Low-key, that's what happened last time. Roman cheated and Drew just sang American Pie with Tyson Fury.
But that was a different... Drew's at a different place in this one. And I think this is where... I could see this is where they incorporate the three-way dance between Punk, Drew, and Damian. Because I think a triple threat match is on the horizon. Unless one of those two men in Punk or Drew wins Money in the Bank.
I kind of get what you're going at, but I don't necessarily feel like Damien held the championship with much grace. I think it was kind of lackluster of a run for as long as he's held it, which, hasn't been that long.
But that's no fault of his own. I mean, half his crew is hurt. Shit.
Well, I mean, yeah, I get that when your only option is JD McFunko. Yes, I get that, but he's proving why Rhea was more of a leader of the Judgment Day than he was, which isn't a good look for him. So I think that they have to kind of figure things out with Priest right now and what they want to do with him, because what he's doing right now isn't working. Drew McIntyre has a very clear and precise future. He's got CM Punk in his future. When Seth Rollins comes back, he's got Rollins. He has a lot of gripes with a lot of people. And I think that I think that the only reason that he re-signed, because he did re-sign with WWE, is because of this moment in this match. We'll give you the belt. We'll give you the moment.
What? He got the moment at Mania.
I mean, that was 5 minutes. he gets the run this time in his hometown.
But they're not giving him that title unless he gets a run. There's a run, and then there's a run.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody's expecting a Roman Reigns run, but I mean, he could definitely have a nice little run with it. If you don't believe that CM Punk is going to beat him whenever, they have their rivalry, which I can't imagine isn't going to be at SummerSlam. Right?
That's why I think it's going to be a prolong to a triple threat at SummerSlam.
So you're going with the double count-out method?
I wouldn't even say a double count-out method, but they can't have Tyson Fury save him now because Fury got his ass beat, and Fury's gearing up for the rematch. The question is, who can cause this match to be funky other than Punk?
Well, I mean, the people are going to boo Punk if they do it. And I can't imagine that's something WWE wants, right?
I mean, it would be expected in the home native, it would be expected there. If all places, it should be expected there.
I mean, but do you want to subject one of your biggest baby faces to that?
But this is where I don't think, with this title picture, I don't see it as faces and heels. I just see it as understanding. And I don't think you should do it, but I understand.
Yes, that. So I'm going clean W on. Well, obviously there's going to be some smosh to it, but McIntyre wins. Priest retains.
He's gonna have to, because here's the thing: even if Drew wins, is Punk ready to be back in time for SummerSlam? That's numero uno. With Priest, it's interesting because I don't know if they're going to do a Judgment Day pseudo breakup, and I can't see them doing a pseudo breakup without Rhea. The interesting dichotomy would be if Damian had the briefcase and Damian still had the title and Finn had the briefcase.
Very true.
And I think that would inject a whole new dichotomy. Because Punk and McIntyre really don't need the title to get that off.
No, they don't. Well, what about this? McIntyre wins, and then Money in the Bank, Priest gets it off of McIntyre.
That would only work if Finn wins the briefcase and cashes in on Damian the same night.
Right.
Which would be fucking bananas. I don't see that happening, but can't say I didn't plan it.
I mean, it's a possibility. I feel like it's a better possibility than giving, I don't know, LA Knight the briefcase and him not doing anything with it.
I don't think LA Knight is going to win the briefcase, so that's just me. I think he's going to win the U.S. title, but
that's what I was saying. It is rumored that, LA Knight might win the briefcase. So it would make more sense for somebody like Balor to win the briefcase and, screw up the Judgment Day. But then again, do they want to put the title on Finn Balor? But what am I saying? Triple H put the title on Finn Balor, so yeah, he would probably do it again.
Yeah, but this is also a preponderance of furthering a storyline.
Right.
So I mean, it'll be interesting, that's for sure.
There's some aspects of this PLE that are honestly predictable for obvious reasons, but there are low-key some things that we're going to have to figure out. When we actually, it's unpredictable in some sense.
Unpredictable, but very consequential.
Right.
And that's where I think it's uberly interesting to me. Because this is shaping the summer and how the SummerSlam card looks.
Right. Alright. I think that will conclude our coverage of WWE Clash at the Castle. And this episode as a whole. If you like what first and foremost, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, but on YouTube and Castbox. It is sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us next Saturday as actually no, we won't be doing a review of this show. Join us in 2 weeks as we do a review of Clash at the Castle. And join us this Tuesday as we interview Brian Leo. This Wednesday as we interview Reign Victoria. And follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, Twitter, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Kaliko?
I am Kaliko for the win.
For Kaliko, Yash, and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.